programs at the Other Foundation. Thank you for coming, and it's lovely to see you.
Great pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Before we talk about the work of the Other, are South Africans in touch with the LGBTI discourse?
That's a great question, and it's hard to tell because it's hard to talk about South Africans as just one group. And I think that what's interesting is that different parts of society, I think that if you're urban and hip and in Joburg or Cape Town, people probably are very comfortable talking about LGBTI stuff.
Yeah.
I think if you're of an older generation or you come from a more conservative rural area, it's probably new stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to address, is to begin to open up that conversation in a way that includes everybody, that says it's okay to ask questions, it's okay to have your viewpoint, and let's just talk those things through as opposed to being polarized and not having a conversation about it.
Now, tell me, a gathering of this nature, why is it so important?
It's so important because across Southern Africa, South Africa stands as a kind of a light of some sort with our constitution that provides protection to sexual minorities, in contrast to a place like Zimbabwe, where the president and the ruling party is very aggressive and encourages open violence and stigmatization towards sexual minorities, that we use the space that we have to pull to people across the region to be able to talk strategy and to support one another in order to advance rights of everyone.
I mean, we look at what the foundation actually does, and it positions itself as a grantor and fundraiser to assist LGBTI programs. How easy or difficult is it to find funding? Because companies, individuals wanting to place themselves alongside this, is it an easy task or is it becoming difficult?
Do you know, it's become increasingly difficult to raise funds from traditional sources like overseas foundations and bilateral groups such as Deferred or USAID. So the challenge of that has created this opportunity of forcing us to look inside of our country to raise funds. And what we found is that actually people are very interested in talking about human rights. People are deeply interested in making a society that's fair and equal for everyone. And if the ask is small so that everyone can give, and if you do it in a way that provides open information and discussion, actually people are pretty willing to give.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. I'm encouraged to hear that. And what I'm also encouraged to hear is that you want non-LGBTI people to actively defend the rights of this community. And that's something that I think you strive for quite actively.
You know, South Africa's got a wonderful tradition of non-racialism.
Yeah.
So we have a history of including people from across a spectrum to fight for the rights of everyone. And it was a great pleasure for me to be part of, or privilege for me to be part of the anti-apartheid movement. And that same thinking of going to people and saying, what are you losing or what is it costing you to have prejudice and stigma and discrimination in a society? What does it mean to lose freedom or have an unfree society? Everybody suffers from that. And so we're going to other people to make the connection of saying that if you're prejudiced and violence towards one particular sector of society, that takes away everybody's freedom.
Indeed.
And we're trying to build alliances around those kinds of questions.
Let's take a look at I suppose, a story that's really taken the world by storm, and that being the story of Bruce Jenner becoming Caitlyn Jenner. What has that done for the community?
I think that what it's done is it's opened up that space to talk about things. And I think that within the subcontinent, we've always had people, and many activists as well, who themselves are transgendered, who there is a difference between their biological sex of how they were born and how they actually feel and express themselves inside. And people have constantly been trying to raise that as an issue to say, how do we create the kind of space, both in terms of social space, but also laws and health issues that allow that to happen. And I think that when you have a high-profile celebrity who owns and explains and comes out about those problems, it then makes it much easier for people who are more marginalized, perhaps less kind of in the public eye, to tell their story and to be heard and understood in a different way.
Well, good luck for today. I hope it goes exceptionally well. So it's the Walter Sisulu Square hosting over 100 African thinkers brought together, and I imagine throughout the continent.
It's actually sub-Saharan Africa,
so
but there's 11 African countries.
Unbelievable. Congratulations, well done, and I wish you the best. We'd like to hear how it goes once it's all been done.
We'd love to tell you.
Lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was Dr. Carla Sutherland, Head of Programs for the Other Foundation.